Is becoming underrated and purpose is overrated? Do we talk about purpose like way too much when we really should be talking about becoming way more, becoming the person that you need to be? Because in all honesty, what is purpose if you don't become? How are you supposed to fulfill purpose if you don't become who you need to be to fulfill purpose?
I don't know. I think, okay. Purpose.
Here we go.
Is overrated.
Now I shrink when I say that because as a person who teaches purpose and leading people to their purpose and wanting people to find their purpose because it's such a beautiful thing, I hate to say it, but maybe purpose is overrated. Welcome to another episode of Becoming with Angelina Watkins, and I'm your host, Angelina, your queen of becoming, and I'm here to help sophisticated professionals and first-time entrepreneurs become who they need to be so that they can do what they're purposed to do, so they can live the abundant life that they want to live. And I started this podcast to talk about healing to prosperity and everything in between that you need to know to become who you need to be to win at love, life, and money. And if this is your first time tuning in, I do welcome you. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss another episode. We drop an episode every Thursday. Now, today's episode is about purpose, and we want to know, is purpose overrated? And this is going to be a conversation between becoming and purpose. Which one should we really be talking about? And this is taken from the Social Proof podcast episode. My mentor, David Shands, he was my past podcast mentor. Him and his co-host, Donni Wiggins, they had a conversation about purpose. And I absolutely loved it. And I think you all should just check out the podcast. It's great. They be dropping some knowledge and they be dropping some things that really make you think, which is what this episode is about. So I want to make sure that you comment below after you've listened to this podcast and tell me what you think is purpose overrated, okay? And so it's really a conversation or a discussion, a debate between becoming and purpose. Is becoming underrated and purpose is overrated? Do we talk about purpose like way too much when we really should be talking about becoming way more, becoming the person that you need to be? Because in all honesty, what is purpose if you don't become? How are you supposed to fulfill purpose if you don't become who you need to be to fulfill purpose? Purpose then has no meaning if you never become the person that you're supposed to be. So, is purpose overrated? Is it like a fad that we're talking about too much? And we need to just back it up and get down to the root of what we really should be talking about, which is becoming, right? What this podcast is all about. So the first thing I want to do, though, is let's just talk about and define what is purpose. I like Donnie's definition that she gave on the episode as to what is purpose.
Is purpose based on a time frame or a season or a window of time?
No. So I just looked up the actual definition of purpose. And it is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists.
Okay.
Right? So there are reasons for which you do the morning meetup. There's a reason in which you exist. And if we go down that lane, we'll probably get into a religious conversation or spiritual conversation. And I kind of want to not do that right now. But we all know that there's a reason that we exist. And for the most part, if I can say, I believe that the reason that we exist is to spread, to live a life in a way that validates and spreads the goodness of God.
So yes, I agree. Purpose is about spreading the goodness of God. We were all created for a particular reason. And what she says in that episode is that and it's not exact words, but it's great, it's beautiful, it's excellent, it's wonderful. These are my words. When you figure out what your purpose is. but it's even more beautiful for those who actually walk it out or operate in it. But David said, "Its purpose have a time frame," and purpose doesn't necessarily have a time frame. God purposed you to do and fulfill a particular assignment on earth. He has chosen you to solve an issue for his people, that his people may be freed up to serve him. Okay, and so we're purpose for a particular reason, but purpose does have phases, which is why it may seem like purpose is for a time frame. It may seem like purpose changes, but purpose does not have a time frame. So you have your preparation phase. That's the phase in which you are being prepared for your purpose. Most people that are in the preparation phase don't even have clarity on what their purpose is. They don't know what their purpose is. They're kind of lost. And that's why they begin to question, what is the meaning of life? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I on this job? Why are these things happening to me? Because they're not understanding that they're being prepared for their purpose. They're being led to one day understand, realize, and know what their calling is. But until then, you are being prepared. That's why you have these different jobs that you're on. Those jobs are there to prepare you for your purpose. And so what I like to say is we have temporary destinies that prepares for our purpose. Our purpose is a destiny, but we have temporary destinies that are designed to prepare us for our purpose. And so where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. It may not be where you want to be, but it's where you're supposed to be. And in where you are, you've got to ask yourself, what am I supposed to get out of this? Because wherever you are, whatever job you have, whatever situation you're in, you're supposed to be getting something out of that. And a lot of times, many of us don't get what we're supposed to get out of it because we're so focused on, I don't want to be here. I don't know what the meaning of this is. I don't know how this relates to where I'm supposed to be or where I'm going. And so we miss out on the learning opportunity of what we were supposed to get during the preparation phase for our purpose, that when the opportunity for our purpose comes along, then you're not ready.
Guys are like, if you are like working a job right now, the most important thing I think you could do right now is understand why you're there. What can you get more? I did a training called Get More From Your Job Than a Paycheck. And you got to get more from your job than your job gets from you, because they are going to get their piece from you. They are going to get their value from you 100%. You do the work, bring back the money, they give you your portion of that money.
So they're going to get what they want, but are you getting what you need to get while you're there? Get all that you can get, learn all that you can learn, because it's going to help you later. I can tell you, for me, I've had a lot of jobs, a lot of positions, not necessarily a lot of companies, but a lot of positions within a company. And all of these things that I'm learning, I did question at one point in my life, like, why do I know all of this stuff? Why do I know about the stock market? Why do I know about real estate? Why do I know about owning a business? Why do I know about starting a business? Why do I know about healing? Why do I know about the inner work? Why do I know about becoming who you need to be? Why do I even know about purpose? Why do I know all of these different things that I know? And it's because I'm here to solve a solution in the earth for God's people. So I had to learn all these things. I had to learn about insurance. I had to learn securities. I had to learn about health insurance in the healthcare industry. I had to learn all these things so I could be well-rounded for the people that I coach. Now, do I know everything? No, I don't profess to know everything. But I know what I need to know in order to serve the people that I'm supposed to serve. Now, that's phase one. Phase one is preparation. Then you have your operating phase. In the operating phase, that's where you are operating in your calling. By now, you know what your calling is. You know what you're supposed to be doing, and you're actually operating in it. You're actually walking in it. Okay. And then the third phase is what I call the evolving phase. And so the question becomes, does your purpose change? Over time, does your purpose change? And I don't believe that your purpose necessarily changes, but it does evolve.
You are operating in your purpose, so to speak. But if you are operating in what you call purpose long enough, most of the time, it changes.
Do you think that the purpose changes, or do you think that the vehicle that you use to achieve that thing changes?
I think the purpose changes.
I disagree. I don't believe that your purpose changes. What God called you to do is what he called you to do. And who he made you to be is who he made you to be. And you're to walk in it. But I do believe that your purpose can evolve. And so that the way in which you deliver your purpose is going to be different. Because let's be frank. What I do at 40, I can't necessarily do at 70. But how I deliver it can change. And so the example that I like to give is in like a school district. You may start out as a teacher, and then you move up to an assistant principal, then you move up to a principal, then you move up to a superintendent. Then you might even move into being on the board for the school district. In the medical field, you might be a CNA, a certified nursing assistant. Then you might be a licensed a LPN, I think it's licensed practitioner nurse. Then you might become an RN. From there, you might become a practitioner nurse. From there, you might upgrade to being a doctor. And then from there, you might go into being a specialty doctor. And after you've done all of this, you might then become a professor who teaches the doctors, who helps the people. So how you deliver your purpose, I think, changes, not necessarily what your purpose is to do, because you have a skill and you have a talent and you have gifts. And God has blessed you with natural talents and a gifting that you're supposed to use, in that you're using that to serve the people no matter where you are. So what he gifted you to do, that doesn't change, in my opinion. But how you give it does change. So let's get into the conversation of becoming versus purpose. Is becoming underrated and purpose overrated?
I think it goes back to one of the things you were saying. You asked, what would you do if you had to do it all over?
Mm-hmm.
And this goes to the essence of what I was saying when I said I would focus on becoming something special. Because if you are focused on becoming something special, becoming somebody powerful, becoming somebody knowledgeable, somebody that like gets stuff done and is, looking to rise to the top of whatever it is that you do, I think it doesn't matter who you're with, because the focus is to become something.
Mm-hmm.
Like personal development, it's just so underrated.
Mm-hmm.
And we mindset training is so underrated, but like not the skill of doing something, but becoming a resourceful person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Becoming a thinker, becoming good at communication, or like just really, I would have for sure focused on becoming really, really, really good at something.
So I like his simplified definition of becoming. Becoming is to personally develop yourself. And so what does that mean, to personally develop yourself? Think differently than where you are. See things differently than where you are. Feel things differently than how you've been feeling them. It's about mental toughness. It's about emotional intelligence. It's gaining the skill on how to resolve conflict, how to effectively communicate with all types of people. It's you personally developing yourself, gaining the skills and knowledge that you need. Now, if you don't know your purpose, you might not know what you need, which is why wherever you are, whatever job you have, that you need to take advantage of what you could be learning in that role or in that position or at that company, even if it's not your job. Business acumen. We tell our learning project managers on the job that you got to learn business acumen. It's not about just knowing your role, but knowing and understanding how other roles work. And when you understand systems and dynamics within large organizations, right, that puts you on a totally different playing field, whether it's you want to be promoted or whether you want to be an entrepreneur and open up your own business. So you got to learn more than just where you are, but also learn about the workings within that company and how they operate, how they make decisions and things of that nature. Okay, so becoming is to personally develop yourself, become who you need to be, become the thinker, become the leader, become the resourceful person, become the problem solver, become the conflict resolution person, become the person who initiates, become the person who gathers people together, rally them around, become whoever that is that you need to be for your purpose.
I know I would have taken a whole lot more time getting clear early on.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's really easy to mistake things that you're good at for what you're purposed to do. I'm good at a lot of stuff, but not purposed to do that, right?
Can I have an argument?
Sure.
I don't know. I think, okay. Purpose.
Here we go.
Is overrated.
Tell me more.
Yes. Shands, I agree. Purpose is overrated. Now, I shrink when I say that because as a person who teaches purpose and leading people to their purpose and wanting people to find their purpose because it's such a beautiful thing, I hate to say it, but maybe purpose is overrated. Not overrated for what he may think that purpose changes and things of that nature. But purpose is overrated as in we talk about purpose so much and how to find it, but I don't believe we talk enough about who you need to be in order to walk in it. And again, purpose doesn't matter if you're not the person you need to be to fulfill the purpose. So I do think that we need to start having more conversations about becoming instead of the purpose. I know we need to talk about the end goal. I know we need to see the end goal. I know we need to find it. But guess what? Guess what? You find purpose when you find you. And you find you when you become and personally develop yourself. So if for all of you out there who are confused and don't know what your purpose is and don't realize what you're supposed to do with your natural gifts and talents that God has given you, then that's because you're not doing something. You got to be doing something and becoming something. And as you become, you will then discover what you're purposed to do. And so that's one of the things that Donni talked about. And it's about connecting the dots. I'm on this job and that job. She talks about what she was, but I was a real estate agent. I was a fully licensed financial advisor. I worked in the health industry. I worked in nonprofit. I've worked in credit services. I've done financial teaching. I've done customer service teaching. I've done a lot of things. I can't even sit here and name it all. Before I was even had a career. There was McDonald's and the Montgomery Wards, which was a retail store. There was grocery store. There was the bank. I worked at the bank. I was a teller. I was a proof operator. I was accounts reconciliation. I've done a lot. But when you look back on all of those jobs, what was the common denominator of who I am? How did I keep showing up on the job? That is a consistent thing of who God created me to be. That helps me identify my purpose and what I'm supposed to do in helping people because there's some consistency there. The jobs may have changed. Again, the jobs may have changed, but who you are on that job and how you're showing up in that natural thing that you do, you become that natural leader. You become that problem solver. You see problems. That was me. I see problems. And now I'm putting in processes and systems and procedures to solve the problem. So I could see things that other people couldn't see. And so I became a fixer. I would fix issues. I would fix the problems that are happening within the organization or within the team. And so that becomes who I am, which now makes sense as to why I am a coach, to help people fix their lives and their finances and their emotions and their mindsets. I'm a fixer. I'm a problem solver. And so it just only makes sense that I would solve other people's problems and help them get out of where they are to a better life. But you're not going to discover your purpose if you don't just do something. You got to do something. Stop worrying about, oh my God, what am I called to do? Am I doing what God wants me to do? Is he going to be upset that I'm not doing it? I heard a pastor, I think it was Pastor Darius of Change Church, said what he does is what he feels like he should do. What if he doesn't feel like he's hearing from God, then he does what the desires of is in his heart. And if it's not the right thing, then God is going to let you know it's not the right thing. But if you don't know what to do, then what is your heart telling you to do? Where are you being led to go? What are you being led to do? What are you feeling like? Where are you feeling like you should be, or what you should be? Whatever it is that you're feeling or you're thinking or that you're imagining or you're visioning, go for it. It doesn't matter if it's the wrong thing. God will make it the right thing. And it doesn't matter if it's the wrong thing, because then you'll learn something from it. Okay? So I think, and I agree, purpose might be just a little overrated, only because we focus too much on what it is that I'm supposed to be doing later versus what I'm supposed to be doing now, which is to just do something.
Let's just talk about it, because we need to find out where your major impact is going to be. Becoming something special in a space. You got to figure out what that's going to be.
Got to figure out what that's going to be. And the only way you figure it out is to do. So if I had to do this all over again, one thing that I wouldn't change is how much I've done.
Yeah.
How much I've tried.
Mm-hmm.
How much I've tried, no matter how scary it was, no matter how minute it seemed. I didn't realize that my career in property management would train me to be a dynamic. I am a COO, but I'm a COO at heart. I'm a CEO, but I'm a COO at heart. And it's the 13 years that I spent in property management being the operator of somebody else's asset. Like, you just can't see me there.
Just do. Just do. And you will eventually find your purpose. Just do something, okay? You'll be amazed at where you are right now, how much it's preparing you for where you're supposed to be. So be content. Don't be satisfied, but at least be content that where you are is where you're supposed to be, and that you're going to learn what you're supposed to learn, and just do something, because it's going to lead you to where you're supposed to be. Okay? Now, where you are is not where you have to be. Your past does not define you. You define you. So heal, transform, and pursue you.